Okay, great. Hi, good morning, everybody. It's Ia Patsy, and I am here to um, do this reading. Well, bring a message that I've been led to share um, about life, and it's related to the twin flame journey because I'm sure, as everything that has been going on in this journey, the things that I've experienced or other um, clients, subscribers, other people who are also on this journey, what they experience is connective. We're all similar. We're having similar experiences at the same time. That's why we're the collective. Hi, how you doing? Thank you for coming. Give me a thumbs up so that other people will know that I'm here. Because as usual, I didn't announce anything. I'm doing as I'm led. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know where you're from, and I'll continue. So I didn't know how exactly to bring this information because it's kind of sensitive and personal. But again, this is part of the journey, right? And to share, because if I'm experiencing it, somebody out there is experiencing something similar. And I didn't know how to present it because it has to do with childhood and has to do with family and mental and emotional disorders and spirituality and strength and ego. So, and narcissism and its effects on families and being a hovering parent, or just the darkness that lies within people that they project onto their children, and their children take it forth through the generations, and things never get addressed. I say thank you. Okay, so I was led to pull a rune because this is something that is deep, right? This is something that goes back generations. So Spirit said, pull a rune. So the rune that came up is the rune Wunjo. Okay, and it looks like a P, all right? But it's number 8, and it represents being joyful. It represents being a flag bearer, a leader. This talks about community, family, friendship, shared roots, shared origins, and opposites coming together. So this is about enjoyment and happiness, cheerfulness, well-being, happy families. But in the negative, this could talk about unhappiness and sadness and dejection, failed plans, failed relationships, alienation, and depression. So, made sense when I came out of the bag. Keep my rooms in the bag. Hey, Mike. Thanks for coming, Mike. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up so that other people can join us. Mike says hello there, lovely Cosmos connector. Okay, maybe that's what it is now. Then I have rune cards also. Hola, Ashe. It's funny, I was playing Spanish music this morning too, and yesterday. And this is the Power of the Runes deck by the gaming systems, US gaming systems. Runes are ancient, all right? They're a powerful spiritual tool that are believed to be the creation of the Norse god Odin. These are the most ancient of Germanic people, and these magical symbols offer us deep insight into the hidden pictures of the cosmos and the secrets of the human psyche. So what they've done is they made a deck out of the runes, so it'd be easier. Could you ask a card today? One needs some help. Sure. Just let me get to it because this is important, Mike. And I only did live because I wanted. It's easier to upload, so I got to get this message out. But I'll remember that you need a card puller. Maybe this will answer whatever it is that you need. So, at the bottom of the deck of the runes was this. All right, and this is number 21. Now, this talks about the womb, right? This talks about creation, the beginning, right? You could tell from the picture. At least that's how I took it intuitively. Could be shakeups, all right? Could be a tower moment, even. But this may have been something that has come from your creation or our creation or the person who's experiencing this. Okay. It's cool. Thank you, Mike. So, lagoons is the water. So, maybe some of you are water signs or you're dealing with a water sign, or this message as it comes about may resonate with a water sign in your life, perhaps, but it's not necessarily. And this talks about the subconscious, the life force, your initiation into the world. This talks about creativity, intuitive access to the subconscious, and enhanced emotions. This also talks about emotional blockages, excessive daydreaming, undirected thoughts, blockage of life forces, and poisoning. Poisoning, literal or figuratively being poisoned. So something that a situation you may have been born into, a family dynamic that you may possess that may poison the way you interact with others. Okay. Excellent. Wow. This kind of goes along with the message, I guess. Then got three other cards from the room deck. This first card is number 7. 7 may be important to some of you, but this is talking about the gift, having gifts. Thanks for joining us. You join us in the room, please give us a thumbs up. Let me know who you are. So this is talking about welcoming someone into your home. This talks about a gift that came from the creator, okay, gift from the gods. This talks about understanding and trust, generosity, spiritual, sensual union. But in the negative, it could talk about disharmony and imbalance, separation, frustration and dissatisfaction, exploitation, and sexual blockages. The next card. Oh, let me just say what that word is in rune. This is Gebo, Gebo, Gebo. So again, the gift of the God, something that you were born with. Also talks about the union, spiritual union, communication. Could be communicating on the 5D with someone, not just your twin flame. Could be family. The next rune that came, number 15, was Elhaz, or the elk, protection. This talks about luck and strength, contact with your higher self, resistance, protection, a good outcome, optimism. Hey, Jatan, Juanita, hi, how are you today, honey? Talks about protection, optimism, success, superhuman contact, intuition, and luck. but also talks about failure, misuse of your gifts, uprooting, deception, and a false piety. Okay. Maybe thinking too highly of yourself, someone maybe thinking too highly of yourself, making a spectacle of yourself sometimes. All right. Maybe lying, being deceitful. All right. But also talks about being protected. This could also be someone who is a water sign, Cancer, Sagittarius. This could be Gemini. Yeah, but this could be Cancer, like the Chariot, or it could be Sagittarius with the arrow. So it could be fire signs, water signs, air signs, Earth because of the elk. Okay, so this is for everybody because everybody's affected by this. Enmeshment is the term. And the last card that came from the runes was number 12. And number 12 is Jera, Jera. Talks about a fruitful year. And that's good. This is the end of the year, so we're having this discussion. So cool. Talks about solar year and a rich harvest, right? So this is about the fall because we in the United States, we are in the northern hemisphere, in the East Coast, we are in winter. We're in fall right now. We're not going to be winter for another week or two. So even though it feels like it's winter, it's still fall. So fall is harvest time, right? Um, this talks about completion of a life cycle of a marriage. This talks about harmony, talks about reconciliations. This talks about a marriage of spiritual people. Hey, Desiree, how are you? A marriage of spirit that's based in spirituality. Um, this talks about success, rewards, and being in the right place at the right time. But in the reverse, it could be poor planning, being somewhere at the wrong time, blind activity, lost, or laziness. So this is kind of like the Ten of Cups or the Three of Cups, even. It's about family, community, celebration. Could be about greediness. So again, this is a situation that has been instilled in us, the people that this resonates with, long before we were conscious of it. It's been passed down generationally. And it's going to be brought to the forefront. We're going to talk about it, discuss it so that we can do better in the future. So, this is not to accuse anyone of anything. This is to point out things that are going on that you may not understand. It may not have any explanation. You may have something that just keeps happening over and over and over again with the same family dynamic or with the same person. And no matter what you do, you can't understand where it's come from. So, for some of us, it is you have people around you or you who are having challenges with controlling their emotions or controlling their mental state. There's some people who are clinically diagnosed with mental challenges who are in your family and you're aware of it. And for some of you, the person tries and strives to do the work, take the medication, do the counseling. They're trying to work on what it is they recognize, and everybody's supportive of it. And you have other situations where the person is reluctant, or the disease, one of the characteristics of the disease keeps the person from trying to get a cure because the disease doesn't want a cure. And so it tricks the person who's afflicted with this situation away from getting the help that they need. And so there comes a time, a certain point when people have to be responsible for themselves, even if they have mental challenges. But when they get to a certain age and they've been through the experiences that have gone along with their addiction or their challenge, their emotional mental challenge, and they choose to stay within it, what are we supposed to do as spiritual people? Well, there may come a time when you feel torn, like, am I supposed to be here to support and help? Or do I need to back away from this situation for my own sake and to protect my own energy and my own safety? It could be physically unsafe. I got two and two here. Okay. So yes, it could be physically or mentally or emotionally unsafe for you to remain in the relationship with this family member or this mate or coworker, whatever. It gets to the point where it's too draining emotionally because this person may know that they need help and be reluctant to get it. And in that case, the message that Spirit has given to me is that my main obligation is to prepare and to protect myself. So, if protecting myself would mean that I would no longer be in contact with this person, no matter what my relationship with them is, we're talking about family. So it's not just like your husband or your boyfriend. This is talking about family member or your girlfriend, like I say. So, can you break away? Do you want to? Do you need to? And there comes a point when you have to figure out what's important. Hey, Marilyn, thanks for joining me today. Thank you. Don't forget to give us thumbs up so more people can join. Um, so I have a situation where, and I've spoken about it before. I have an adult daughter. She's going to be 40 soon. So that means I'm over 40. And she has been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, which is very a difficult hmm, diagnosis. People are very resistant to it, even people in the psychiatric and medical communities. And it's difficult because it's hard to deal with. And it can go se- several levels. Here I got 3 and 3. Thank you. 33 confirmation. It can have many different levels to it, things underlying it. And I've tried as a mother over the years to get help for her and be patient and to just show her as much love as I could because she was my only child until I had my son. So my daughter was like 14 or 15 when my son was born. So we had lots of years together. But in those years, I had to provide, I had to work, and I was her only parent because her other parent chose not to participate. And it has had effects on both of us. But she's processed it differently because even though she's my child, she's also his child. And so she has my DNA and she has his DNA. And she has my bad side and his bad side and my good side and his good side. Someone else is going mad, your girlfriend's going mad. Okay. Um, well, that's how I felt. And that's how I've been feeling. And I have been dealing with this borderline personality disorder in my child all her life. Hey, Christina, how are you? Thanks for coming by. Um, Please give us thumbs up so more people can know that we're here. So anyway, this has been very draining and a lot of pressure on me because I was a single parent, like really. And it wasn't like he was a bad guy. You know, he wasn't a bum. He wasn't in jail. He wasn't dead. He wasn't a gangbanger. You know, none of that. And that added to it being even worse. It really did. My daughter got a lot of mixed signals about who her father was and who I was. And it was, I guess some of it was from me, but I will say without a doubt, the majority of the missed signals came from his family, from his sister, um, especially and purposefully because of her own issues. Um, so enmeshment, let's get back to that. We know about the Oedipus complex, right? Where the little boy falls in love with his mother in his mind, and so he imagines, fantasizes killing his father and marrying his mother, right? Oedipus complex is a Freudian theory of psychology. And there is a flip side to that, which is called the Electra syndrome, where the female child idolizes the father and wants to kill the mother so she can marry the father in her mind, right? It's a fantasy, but it's real, right? This is what's some people experience. Oedipal complex, electro complex. Okay, cool. It seems that in my child's case, because her father was totally absent, his own choice, but she still had a relationship with his family. So she would visit with them. She would spend summers with them every year from the time she was a little baby until she was 15 years old. She would stay with them. And during the time period that and 1 year she lived with them for a year. She went to school. She was in like kindergarten. But it was a necessity. It was an emergency on my part, and I needed to keep her safe. And so I sent her to stay with her grandparents. I paid for her to go to private school while she was there. I helped as much as I could, um, and I wasn't getting child support even until well, I didn't get child support for her until she was like 5 or 6. So I may have had that, but I was working. I know I sent money to cover her tuition. The school was only $120 a year for Catholic school. Cool, right? Back then. Um, but she didn't like it and she wanted to come home at the end of the school year. And I was more than happy to let her come home. But anyway, over the years, what I didn't realize is that the hatred and the psychotic person that was her aunt, who hated me because she had her own issues about her brother, which is part of this. Um, She was indoctrinating my child every year about how negative I am and how wonderful her brother was or is at the time. So it's like he was all American Eddie and I was bad Patty at home. But I'm the only parent that she knows. So, and this, stay with me, folks. I know this is a little complicated, but if you can understand it, then if I can express it correctly, maybe you'll get it. When she came to that place where the Oedipal complex kicked in, she didn't have the other parent to kill. She didn't have the other parent to destroy. She only had one parent. So the same parent that she needed to destroy in the Oedipus Electra psychological dynamic is the same parent that she wanted to love. So therefore, all of her emotions are directed towards me. The need to destroy and the need to possess at all costs. And that's what I've been living with for 40 years. I didn't know what it was. All the doctors, I mean, they knew she had borderline, but the extent of the animosity and the hot and the cold and the hatred towards my son because of jealousy, because she sees him in her mind distorted. She sees him as a rival, and he needs to be annihilated. Anyone I was dating, I was cheating on her with in her mind. When I was at work, I was out doing something wrong. I was out partying or something because that's what was being fed to her when she was little by her aunt. My family didn't help it either. Absolutely. They're the same type of energy. If I was going to work and my daughter acting up because I couldn't leave the house, like a normal person, like, okay, bye. I had to, like fool her or something like that in order to get out of the house to go to work. So let's say my mother or somebody was there. I got to go and try to talk and explain to her I got to leave for work, but I got to go. So when I would leave, they would reinforce her, you know, anger instead of saying, knock it off. Your mom has to go to work, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's okay. It'll be all right. It's all right. In other words, they were just trying to settle her down, but not correcting her. So the only person that was getting corrected was the only person that was given correction was me. The only person that was given discipline was me. And I was also giving her love at the same time because I loved her. I still do. But I cannot tell you how much energy and time and money and love and just my physical personage has been affected by this type of a journey. And it gets to be too much. It has gotten to be too much. And on top of that, my daughter is very spiritually gifted, which is another reason why she's a little too much because she has been programmed that that's not good, right? Her grandmother was a Jehovah's Witness. So this is, they're not trying to hear that. My mother and the family, they act like they don't know that, there are spiritual gifts that we have. So everybody's in denial of their gifts except me. I've always embraced this about myself, and they've always pushed it away. But my daughter is just naturally strong like that to the point where, hi, everybody, make sure that you let me know you're here. Give us a thumbs up so more people know that we're here. To the point where years ago when she was real little, I went and got a reading. And the person that was reading me says, "You have two daughters?" I was like, "No, I only have one." She's like, "No, no, no. You got two little girls. Or you have a little girl that lives in the house with you?" I was like, "No." And as she was doing the reading, she says, "Look, I don't know what's going on, but your daughter is real strong because in there are two kids, there's two little girls, twins in your house. That's what's presenting." I realized that when I was pregnant with my daughter, I think I had a miscarriage and it wasn't a twin. I come to find out later that is what happened. So I lost one baby, but one pregnancy stayed at the same time. And somehow that spirit has always been around. And so she's very powerful and she doesn't do it purposely, I don't think, when she was little. But whatever she's feeling, she can manifest it, like energetically. She can see things. She sees things, but because she doesn't, she's reluctant to embrace her gifts. It makes her a little unstable, and so I have to deal with that as a mother, and then have to deal with the sibling rivalry that is natural but is multiplied or it's just extra dealing with someone with borderline personality disorder. So now this is really getting crazy, right? And so on Thanksgiving, she showed her ass as normal. And I was done. I was like, you know what? No, I can't do this for another 20 years. I can't do this for another day because I've done it enough. And I love her, but I love my son and I love myself. And you got to get it together and you can do it alone because You know what the tools are. You refuse to do what you need to do. You rather listen to people who will tell you that there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with me. Fine. You can tell by the fruits of your spirit. All right. What you have, what I have, what I've built, what you haven't built. So you do whatever is best for you, but I'm gonna love you from a distance, purposefully, finally. And again, that will go also with my divine masculine. I'm not letting anybody else continuously undermine my spirit, undermine me, try to belittle my accomplishments in order to make themselves feel better about themselves and their failures or whatever. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm certainly not in competition with my daughter. And I'm certainly not going to be in competition with somebody that I'm supposed to be in love with. Desiree. Mike says that's a problem with my girl. Everyone has made it okay for her to be crazy. Right. So why do we have to make people's insecurities okay? Why do we justify the injustice to ourselves? Exactly. So if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't do my work. I can't my job, my purpose is to be here to be of service. And I've been of service to her all her life. If it wasn't for me, she wouldn't have a life, literally. Because when her father told me I had to choose between him and the baby that I didn't know, those were his words. You're going to choose me? You're going to choose a baby that you don't know over me, who you do know? And my answer was yes. And he took that as a betrayal. And that sealed the deal right there. Nothing, he had nothing for me after that. Nothing. Because he's a narcissist. How dare I choose some entity, a embryo, a fetus over him? Yeah, I did. Because I loved him and I loved myself enough to say, no, I'm going to bring this child through. But spirit led me to understand that something in him knew about this challenge that was going to come about because it was already in his family and he lived through it. That's why even after I had the child, I lived in New York, his family lived in Buffalo. He very rarely went to visit his own mother and father because of the energy of the sister. And he had experienced that all his life and he wanted to protect himself from it. And he may, somewhere in his mind or somewhere in his subconscious, knew or felt that this child was going to re mm, recreate that type of a dynamic in his life again, and he didn't want that, but he didn't express it like that, right? But he's gone now. He passed away, 74. That's 11, I say, and 7 is our number. He and I, we both have the same birthday, and that's the other thing that I think screwed it around in her head because her father and I have exactly the same birthday, just 2 years apart. So that's the same energy, even though she didn't know him. Her she was picking up on that type of energy. We're both Sagittarius. Okay. Yes, I'm a Sagittarius. Give it out. So, actually yesterday was my birthday. So that's another thing. That's probably why all of this is coming to a head. Because it would have been his birthday also. But the important thing is I've done the work, I've done my job as a mother, and I've done my job as a partner. And I can't make people, you can't make anybody you can't force anybody to take care of themselves. You can't force anybody to do anything. The only person that you're responsible for is yourself once your children get to a certain age. And she has gone past her contract with me at this point. When okay. Thank you, Desiree. Desiree says happy birthday. Mike says narcissists don't have empathy. I'm learning that it's always your fault for their pain. Yeah, they have no empathy. They're only empathetic towards themselves. And even that, they're really not. So anyway, so there's the enmeshment, the Electra syndrome, the edible complex, Electra complex. What this has come to my awareness is called covert incest. Covert incest. Now, that's doesn't mean anybody's touching anybody, doesn't mean there's any sex or anything like that going on. You can Google it yourself. COVERT, incest. No, sorry, INCENT. But have a way. Covert incest. And what that is, like covert narcissism, is hidden, right? People, play the victim when they're dealing with a narcissist. You got two narcissists. One becomes an alpha narcissist, the other one is the covert narcissist. In this dynamic, enmeshment and covert incest. Covert incest, again, there's no sexual contact, there's no touching, there's no inappropriate, sexual behavior going on, not at all. It's mental. So, and it can happen very easily, and it's nothing that I don't believe anybody's doing it purposefully. It's just it happens, and in some people it's okay, and other people it becomes a emotional disorder, right? And all you need, I feel that all that we need to do is just be aware of it so that we can catch ourselves, because it's just a dynamic of families that care about one another. Okay, so covert incest is like what I was saying, taking the relationship between a parent and a child and perverting it, right? Adulterizing, oh no, parentalizing a child. So let's say you are in a situation where your mate is a drug addict or alcoholic, right? Or abusive or not there. And you can't talk to your family about it for whatever reason. You don't have money to go to a psychiatrist, psychologist. So the person that you confide in, the person that you tell your troubles to, the person that knows more than anybody should know about the situation because they're a child is your child. So you end up confiding in a child, or the parent ends up confiding in the child, or the caregiver, adult caregiver. And the child gets too much information. They're being asked to hold adult secrets that have nothing to do with them, but the other person who's not getting the support from their partner, the other adult, is turning around and putting this pressure on the child of being their confidant and holding their secrets. And for some children, this becomes a burden that can affect them and the way they interact going forward with their families. So that's one type of scenario. This comes from the parent feeling abandonment issues of their own. Could be from their own childhood, could be in the relationship that they're in at the time, and they bring that to bear on their relationship with the child. So basically, it's a child or children being inundated or having access to more information that they can handle as a child, becoming the second parent in a family rather than the father or the absent parent, right? Or the mother, father, whoever the absent parent is, the parent, the adult, has inserted that child into that role. Oh, again, more than likely out of necessity, right? The oldest child or whatever, the only child becomes becomes the other parent in the family or becomes the partner. There's no sex going on. It's not like that, but it's the level of expectation and responsibility that is put onto a child that is unfair. So, so the parent is burdening the child, but the child doesn't know that they're being burdened, maybe, but they now feel protective of their parent. Like they have to be their protector. They have to, step up to the plate to be the hero in this scenario for this parent who's suffering. They have been privy to. Okay, your girl did that to their child with her ex. The child loss was so sad. Right. Okay. All right. All right. So this is something that goes on in the world, and it comes out in different ways, and it's not healthy. But like I said, sometimes it's out of necessity. Sometimes you have a child who is sick, right? A child is sick, hospitalized, right? A cancer or something like that, and you have to be there. You sleep in the bed with that child. You pamper that child. You attend to their needs and things like that. There's a bonding that goes on that you have to have because you're trying to mm, care for this child, to support this child. You don't want to lose your child to this illness or whatever like that. Even situations like that can lead to this type of enmeshment problem for children because they they attach themselves so strongly to one another, the parent and the child. They become more than codependent. It's it's tough. It's tough. And then when that person grows up and they have their own family, they pass this type of behavior down and it continues to repeat itself. It's a syndrome. So what is it that we should do? Right? We have parents who are narcissists and have set this type of dynamic up, maybe not knowing, not realizing. And so you have a child that's going to take care of a parent until the last day of the parent's life because that's the way they set it up. But what are you going to do? Tell children not to care for their parents? No. What are you going to do? Tell a person who has a child who is in the hospital not to care for their child or to keep their distance? No, you're not going to do that. So what Spirit has been saying is to just be aware of it and try to catch it when you can and try to get the help. That's the other thing, especially in my community, the Black community. We're very reluctant to go to counseling and things like that. The most we'll do maybe go talk to the pastor, the clergy person, and that is another way for the devil to get in. The devil, negativity to get in, exposing yourself to pedophiles and predators and that kind of stuff when you're dealing with these clergy people, right? So you keep these things in the family, you keep these things between yourself and the child or children inappropriately, and it just becomes a syndrome. So the advice is to, if you see that this is going on in your family, try to get counseling. And if you can't get the person or the child, the adult, whoever, to get help, get help for yourself. Just the fact that you recognize it is great. Okay, so work on that, or do your research and that. But this is spiritual too, so you have to do your praying. Pray for healing for your family, but also praying for healing for yourself, most of all, because you got a work to do, especially those of us who are on this twin flame journey. Bottom of this deck, Six of Swords. You got things to do. Got to push it, right? Got places to go, and you can't let this situation make you stagnant, right? You can't allow this to continue to affect you and your work, the way that you love, and the way that your children interact with you, right? Whether you have them now or in the future. So, covert incest and enmeshment. Again, it's not about sex per se. There's no touching, there's no that kind of fondling, inappropriateness, nothing. This is more about an attachment. And it goes on between fathers and daughters, all right? It goes on between mothers and sons. It go on between brothers and sisters, which was my daughter's family's problem, is because her aunt had that type of feeling towards her brother, the father. So she wanted to sleep with her brother in her mind. She never did. And so she was hateful towards anyone she saw as a competition. So it wasn't just me that she hated. She hated every girlfriend that he had had. Well, he only had one other girlfriend besides me, but he hated her. She hated her. And they had a girl cousin that had lived with them for a long time. And even his mother told me that she was hateful towards her too, and the same thing. But who, mothers don't want to, she was torn. It was her cousin that was a girl that was close to his age, and they used to hang out. And the sister, who was younger, hated it, and she hated the girl, and she was hateful to the girl. And once the girl grew up and went, you know, she never came back. The dynamic is stays the same. This aunt, his sister, who has this unholy love for her brother, turns around and she casts that type of attitude onto my daughter, but my daughter don't know her father because she's never seen him. So who she turned this narcissistic enmeshment idolization onto? Me. So borderline personality disorder already says, I hate you, don't leave. That's already part of it. And so now I'm getting that to the second power because this child has fallen in love with me. You're a girl, first of all, so that's not happening. And you're my child, second of all, that's not happening. But she's not like she's saying this. But her actions are like a jealous lover. It's like, damn. And I can't have a relationship because you're sending negative energy, doing negative actions. How could I? How could that be? Just the fact that I had my son, how dare I? Because she was watching me like a damn hawk. She knew I was pregnant before I did. There were people up at the school knew that I was pregnant because she came to school and told everybody. I just, I didn't even make up my mind what I was going to do. Had I had an abortion, I've been walking around town with a scarlet A on my head because she had told everybody already. Controlling, monitoring, watching, 4+4, 4 up here. See what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. And this is real. This is what I experienced. Okay. So if this is resonating with some of you, Queen of Swords. This is who I'm dealing with. And it was in the reverse. This is what I was dealing with. This type of energy all her life. And she's an adult now. She's a grown woman. She has kids of her own. So that's why she can come up as a queen because she's an adult. All right. Highly intelligent adult. A lot of spiritual gifts that she refuses to acknowledge and use. And she turns her venom on me and those who are close to her. Enough of that. You watch the 12-year-old turn into a really unhealthy 15-year-old with no boundaries. Right, right, right. Exactly. Princess of Cups. I love her very much. But I got to look out for myself too. Got to love me too. Because she's not loving me, not in an appropriate way. So she's jealous of all of you all. She could be watching me right now. She could be one of you telling me, talking to me, hidden because that's the kind of energy I'm dealing with. Enough, enough, enough. So hopefully she gets this message. Hopefully my family does. They don't want to acknowledge it. Lovers came out like this. Anyhow, folks, what's happening Out there in the world, this goes on. There are people who are hovering parents, hovering helicopter parents. The moon. Secrets, right? Unknown things, things you don't understand. This fell in the reverse also. Things are being revealed, starting to get an understanding of what it is, of what's been going on. She's been sending her energies to me, comes out in my readings. There are things that I attributed to my twin flame that were actually her energies. That's how strong it is. I didn't realize it. But once it came, and this is through meditation and prayer. Once it came to me, I was like, oh, okay, I understand. I get it. It doesn't excuse it. But what it does, it lets me know that it's not my fault. That she came that way. And that's why he didn't want to be part of it. 4 and 3 is 7. Okay. Because he knew it was going to come his way again. Because he had lived that with his sister. And instead of speaking about it, he just decided to exit himself from my life and from the life of his own family. But maybe he wasn't wrong. And I'm not mad about it because this is my journey. Everything that I've experienced, all of the situations. Here we go. Prince of Swords and the Six of Cups in the reverse. So no nostalgia about that our relationship, nothing. No connection to his past. No connection to his past, and he was clear about that because he knew what was going on, what was underlying. You may never have had the terminology for it, but he definitely knew the energy. And I walked into it, but I already came with it myself from my family, right? My mother had her abandonment issues. My mother parentalized me um, by giving me secrets to hold that I wasn't ready to hold or shouldn't have been expected to hold. Her secrets. I was an adult before I don't remember being a child. Like I knew that there was no Santa Claus, like before I started kindergarten. Why? You know? But she set it up like that because she needed that, she needed that. She couldn't turn to anybody. She was being abused. She was in a relationship. My father was an alcoholic, so she needed somebody to help her clean her bruises. Mhm. Two of Cups. There's times when he couldn't catch her and he caught me because I looked too much like her. He would beat me. I took it and I felt like I needed to protect her. Always felt that. And I always did because that's what I guess I was here to do. But this situation came to my life, I think. I feel spirits revealed because this is what needs to be talked about and exposed and needs to be addressed, and awareness is part of the work. Okay? It's part of the work. So whether or not Princess of Wands, I guess that'd be me, right? Whether or not with the High Priestess, yeah. Me and my mom had to take care of her, and she worked hard. She did the best she could. And like I said, she was tough and she was a tyrant, but that's again part of the enmeshment, not allowing your children to have their own lives. not allowing them to venture out on their own. My mother's kids, the three of us daughters, none of us have a husband. The only person that's married is my brother because he needs a wife to take care of him. In my mother's mind, those are her words. The rest of us, we're good. We can take care of ourselves. We don't need no man. What? When my daughter was born, I came home from the hospital with my baby. This is how deep my mother is with this enmeshment bullshit. So I come home from the hospital. Nobody, I can't put up the crib because you can't put up the crib because the baby hasn't been born yet. So all of that time, even though I bought the crib, I couldn't put it together. So I come home from the hospital after the baby's born, 2, 3 days later. You think somebody else put up the crib? No, I had to put up the crib. Again, I'm the other parent. I'm the man. I'm the husband, right? So I'm putting together the crib, even though I just came from giving birth 2 days ago, and I had a brother and two sisters and her man who I couldn't stand, but they could have all put that crib together. Okay, I put the crib together. While I'm putting up the crib, my mother says to me, "Oh, she's so beautiful, innocent. You don't need to date again until she's 18." What? Seriously. And that was her attitude. And that was the 2 days after my daughter, 2 or 3 days after my daughter was born. That was what she said. So that's been the energy. That's the truth. That has been the energy the entire time. You don't need anybody, just like I didn't need friends to play with because I had brothers and sisters. I didn't need anybody to love. I had a child. I didn't need anybody else to love me. My child could love me. I could love my child. But that's the different kind of love. But to my mother, same thing. Family is all you need. You don't need no husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends. Only if you're a guy, then you need a wife. This is the type of energy. And it's not just our family, it's not just my mother. There's others like that. And I know it, and it's resonating with you. You don't have to admit it out loud if you don't want to. But this dynamic goes on in a lot of families because it went on in his family, my divine masculine's family has a different type of idolation. It comes in a different way, but it's the same thing. Other friends of mine, if you have a friend who, or you know someone, or maybe you grew up in a situation where your parents were addicted to drugs or something like that. Seven of Swords in the reverse. Yep. Can't even speak about it. Can't even defend yourself. Hmm. Anyway, so have addictions. They're unreliable, right? Something's happening, sneaky stuff, but there's nothing you can do about it as a child. But when somebody rings the doorbell, somebody's bringing somebody drugs, right? Or there's drug dealing going on around you, or your parent is hooked on something, or one parent is hooked and the other parent is dealing with abuse because of that, or neglect or whatever like that. And you are the child, maybe you're a boy, or the oldest, and you have to be responsible for keeping your other brothers and sisters safe while your parents are off doing this craziness. That type of stuff turns into narcissism, right? And also could turn into inappropriate meshing between that person who now becomes a father and his children, because he's hovering, he's controlling, he wants to know where everybody is. Everybody, he has to have a curfew even though they're 35, 40 years old. But if they're staying in his house, even though they're grown, they still can't come in after a certain hour because of how it looks to people. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of energy. Those are all inappropriate um, family dynamics. And we need to look at it. We need to make adjustments when we can, where we can, because we still want to be around our families and we still want to love one another, but we have to learn how to seek counseling, or at least seek out resources, books, seminars, videos, or at least have conversations in the open not relying only on these clergy people who probably need some counseling themselves, and to talk to spirit and ask spirit for healing, ask spirit to step in and do a miracle, make the impossible possible, the cure that the doctors can't find. Maybe you can find it within yourself. Maybe that person can find it within themselves, but they have to recognize it first, you know? And I think that's what this is about, is understanding the gift that you have, understanding that you have to protect your gift. If you're experiencing this, you need stability. Establishing stability, establishing boundaries, taking your time to take care of yourself. All right. Not allowing people to abuse your gifts, take advantage of the work that you've done because they're too lazy to do their own spiritual work. Ashe. The bottom of the deck, Four of Wands. Again, stability, happiness. Following the King of Pentacles. And underneath this, Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So there may be something that is stagnant. Things aren't moving the way they should. Or maybe things you feel are going backwards. But there can be a change once you know what you're dealing with. Something to look into, right? Something to see whether or not those patterns exist in your familial relationships. Okay. And if they do, seek the help. Hi, Macris, MCRZS. Hi. All right. It's we have the ability now because of the internet and YouTube and all these other platforms to get the spiritual help that we need, to get the resources to connect with others who are going through the same type of situations. So what I would suggest, if this resonates with you, is to do that research. Google covert incest, Google enmeshment. See if any of those um, descriptions describe your current situation with your family. And if it does, be glad that you're recognizing it. See if you can address it as a family. But if not, just address it as in yourself and be aware of the behaviors that are bring this forth and that carry it on to the next generation. Because we don't want to do this to our kids. You know, we want them to be strong and we want them to be able to rely on one another without being toxic to one another. And there is a healthy mid place for this, right? There's got to be. There's got to be a healthy compromise for these energies. So I am going to pull a card from this new deck, of course. The Soul's Journey by James Van Praagh. Okay. He does Talking to Heaven cards also. And I thought that this would be appropriate. Maybe we can get some guidance from the ancestral energies on how to go forward, or what is the meaning of this lesson for us in our lives. What does this have to do with the twin flame journey? And it may be because maybe this is some of the behavior that your partner is dealing with or has experienced in their childhood, and they're bringing it to the relationship now through control, through ghosting, through a number of inappropriate sexual behaviors, things like that. So just be aware that these things come from places outside of yourself and possibly outside of them. And release the need to know all the answers. Doubt. Release the need to know all of the answers. That was meant to be, because this card was inside of the book. When I took this out, I took it out. It was stuck in the book, doubt. So this was meant for this message. It's impossible for the human brain to comprehend the mysteries of the universe. You're only consciously aware of the three dimensions for a reason, and that is to learn to love without the full awareness of your connection to spirit. Everyone has his or her own personal path to this awareness. Hey, Kata, salutations. Everyone has his or her own personal path to this awareness, and there is no right or wrong answer as long as your goal is to manifest the energy of love and compassion. The wisdom of the divine trickles into the physical dimension, and some of it will resonate with your soul, and some will not. These are your signposts that guide you to your correct path. If the wisdom resonates with you and seems right, then keep it. If not, release it back to the universe. Always be aware and mindful of the insights that your spirit guides and teachers put on your path. Ashe. There we go. That's what we need to do. And that's what this is about. You don't have to know all the answers, but pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities and the guideposts that could be leading you towards your mission. Maybe this is what you came here to do, to, to help your family or your loved ones. Patience. I accept that everything is being worked out in divine order. Everything happens in divine order. I say, like these cards a lot. Okay. Self-esteem. I possess the soul that benefit me. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Ashe. Wow. Beautiful. Doubt, patience, and self-esteem. And the bottom of the deck, change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. If things don't move, things can't change. And the only person that you can change, the only persons whose actions you can change are your own. So if you want movement, you have to be the change that you seek, right? And if it means moving away from this situation, fine. If it means getting help, pulling in researchers, then make that change. That's nice. Beautiful. And I've been hearing that song all morning. A wonderful change has come over me. It's a church song. Mm-hmm. I accept that everything happens in divine order. Earth has become a place of instant gratification, and you must focus on the maximum. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. This card has come to you because you need to learn the joy of anticipation. The process of doing is so rich in lessons, but when you concentrate only on the goal, those experiences are disregarded. So, in other words, enjoy the journey, right? Life is an unfolding, and the more patience that you practice, the more you will let the universal energy celebrate itself through you and bring experiences and situations that your soul requires. You need to learn that there is a rhythm to everything in the universe. And the more you are living with patience, the more aware you are of the lessons that your soul is studying. You are on a path. There are signposts. If you're speeding down the path, you'll miss the little miracles and treasures that have been placed there. You will miss the little miracles and treasures that have been placed there if you race, or you're already at the goal and not enjoying the journey. And self-esteem. I possess the gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. It's easy to perceive others as being better than you. That's the trap of the ego. There is no one greater or lesser than you. There are only those who have learned how to reveal their gifts to a greater or a lesser degree. Everyone is born with unique abilities. And just like the snowflakes, no two are alike. You have a unique perspective to share with the world and have come back this time to put your stamp on it. Perhaps you may not even be aware or even in tune with your incredible and gifted self. Why not try to make a list of 10 aspects of yourself or abilities that you possess that you love and hold in high regard? It's not always easy to write about yourself, but sometimes you need to be reminded about just how special you are. Remember that you did not come down to this schoolroom by accident. You have meaning and a reason for being. You are a treasure chest of incredible gifts and thoughts. Now is the time to celebrate you. Ashe. 11129 when I said that. Haha. That's 111111, right? So the change. Nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Learn about who you are. Be proud of who you are and joyful and grateful for the gifts that you have been given and your ability to share those gifts with the rest of us. And we appreciate it. Be patient with your situation and with yourself. You don't need closure. You don't need all of the answers. You just need to protect yourself and not doubt your own intuition, what you know, what God, what the Creator, what Spirit has revealed to you. You don't have to have anybody, you know, stamp it, approve. No one has to believe it, but you know it. And whoever's supposed to get this message or who's supposed to benefit from this information will. I don't mean any harm to anybody, not my family, not my daughter, certainly, not my DM, but got to get it together or leave me alone. I'm worth more than this, and I know that you are. So, ooh, clean up your mess. Bottom of the deck. I'm trying to clean up mine. I take responsibility for whatever part I played in bringing this turmoil to my daughter's life. And I apologize. But I've been apologizing for many, many, many years. And I think I have paid the penance. And if I haven't, well, then I guess God is going to take care of me later, even worse. Okay. But my soul tells me that it is well with my soul. It is well. I've done my job. I've done what I was expected to do. Taking bite-sized steps. Over these 40 years, day by day by day by day by day. And I'm going to keep taking those steps because I'm different from everybody else. I know that. And you are too. You're not part of the pack. You're just overseeing. You're watching it. You're seeing where everyone's going, but you're not following the crowd. But you're walking behind them to see where they're going. So take your time. Just laugh. This came up last week. Just laugh. Got to. You got to. My girlfriend called me last night and she is going through it. And she is, you know, she's divorcing her husband after 40 years. She had me cracking up. She had me laughing. So she said, who do these guys think the hell they are? We had the decency to give them a chance, these nerds. And look at how they're acting. And I was crying, cracking up, because she was absolutely right. But you don't want to say that stuff, you know, because I'm trying to be all spiritual. She was like, please. What? She don't want the house? She don't want nothing because the house is where he lied to her in. I said, but it's not the house's fault. She said she don't care. She don't want to have any memories of the entire situation. She doesn't hate him, but she's done. She love him like a brother, have kids together, but she's not going to extend herself to him anymore. She's not going to work on it. They can go to counseling, the whole 9 yards. She wants him to go to counseling, but she's not going to be his wife anymore. She's very clear on that. She's a fire sign. And she reminded me last night that I was one too. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah says, I love your reading. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. So just laugh. Find some way to find some humor in this nonsense. And this is number 14, just laugh, right? 1 and 4 is 5. 5 is about changes, changing, new adventures. That's kind of like similar to the Jack in the Box. There's things out there. There's a life out there. All right? I've already played those games. Here we go again. Be patient. You know what? I am so sick of this. This patience, this nonsense. You're welcome, Sarah, on this twin flame reading. It drives me nuts, but here we are again. Be patient, be patient, be patient, be patient. That's what we are, being patient. But in the meantime, we're just going to laugh and we're going to work on our self-esteem. And yes, Marilyn, you can. Mike needs a card pulled. I promised him on the beginning. So that's the message here. Just laugh and be patient. Take your time, take bite-sized steps. All right. And do the work. Okay, Mike. What did Mike wants to know? Has she gone mad? Okay. Yes, Marilyn, I'll take care of yours. I just want to get Mike might have left me by now. He's been hanging out the whole time. But let me pull a card for Mike and see what's the message Spirit wants to get to Mike. Beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. Beautiful. I'll take care of you after I take care of Mike, Marilyn, Marianne. Okay, Mike, it's not an emergency. That's what they said. It's not an emergency. Wow, what is that? So no, she hasn't gone mad. Okay, it's not an emergency. She has not lost her mind. 1 in 6 is 16, and 1 in 6 is 7. So this is a blessing. This is God is trying to show you something. Wants to call your spirit home. Maybe this is a way to get you to focus more on spirit, Mike, this situation. Okay, maybe you need to tap into your spiritual guidance, your calling, your mission, your spiritual path. Maybe what is calling for your attention. Oh, yes. Share your gifts, Mike. That's for you. So it's not an emergency. She hasn't lost her mind. All right. But this is a way of getting your attention so that you can start focusing more on your spiritual path so that you can share your gifts. I think that's the message for you, Mike. Okay. So let's see. What are we going to do, Marianne? What did you want to know, Marilyn? MARILYNE. What is the question that you have? What spirit message for me this month regarding Chris and your relationship. Okay. So let's see what Spirit wants to tell Marilyn about her relationship with Chris. Spirit. Marilyn and Chris. What is it? We get just laugh again for you, Marilyn. Don't take it so seriously. Okay, try to find humor in the situation. Even the smallest amount of humor. Find some humor. Get over yourself. Okay. Let's get over yourself and look at the images like mirror images, but different. This is telling me that whatever misgivings, deficiencies that you may see in Chris, it's mirroring your own deficiencies. And that's why they're telling you to just laugh and get over yourself. That's what it is. It's making you smile now. Okay, yes. It's telling you to just laugh and get over yourself. Taking it too seriously. The things that you don't like about them is exactly part of you anyway. Those are things about yourself that you don't like. The things that make you smile about yourself are the things that make you smile about them. It's just the things that annoy you about them are to get magnetizes, magnifolds. That's not a word. Whatever. It increases. It's more irritating because you recognize those same things in yourself that you don't like. So just laugh. All right, let's get one more card from Marilyn. You seriously want some advice, Spirit. Thank you. Be patient. Oh. Any advice from Spirit for me? I wish they'd get my lottery money. Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's a good time. I think everybody should go out there and. Spirit told me the other day, so I'm gonna say it to y'all. Find an Italian deli wherever you are, if you can. If you can't find an Italian deli, get a deli, a bodega, whatever. Go buy a lottery ticket. But they said specifically Italian deli. That's what they said. So go get you a ticket. All you need is $1 and a dream, they said, right? Okay, Mike, you saw it? All right, good, Mike. Aw. All right, Marilyn, you have to be patient. Sarah, you want to drop some stacks on your favorite readers? Yes, thank you. We will all appreciate it. Should you keep putting yourself, first of all, Mike, let me finish up Sarah, all right, about her money. So Marilyn, are you good? You have to be patient with him, right? And be patient with yourself also, okay? Kata says, what the hell? I was there last night getting a sandwich. You should have got a ticket. Oh, you're welcome, Marilyn. I'm glad I was able to help. Okay, Sarah, let's see what Spirit says about you hitting the lottery. Says seek an expert. What the heck? Number 52. Okay. So maybe that's one of the numbers. Play 14, 1, 21, and 52. Okay. They never said that before. Up here, I got 7, 15, and 12. And we got 14, 1, and 21. Patient's 21. This patient has been coming out. It came out 3 times already. So 21. So 21 could be 3. 3 is spirit. 3 is creation. God. Be patient. Then 52. Seek an expert. So 52, that's a 7 again. We had 7 up here. So 7 and 52, 5, 2. This is 14. 1 and 4 is 5. We got a 15 here from the runes. Oh, that's 1 and 4, so that's 5. And 1. 1 and 5. Okay, that's the 15. And 12. We have 12 over here. Listen, they're going to put me off of YouTube giving out numbers. That's like years ago, Bishop Washington at the Washington Temple in Brooklyn. That was, he would give a radio show on Sundays, and people said that he was giving out the numbers when he's giving out the scriptures. Crazy, but that was his thing on the street. Saying no. Okay. Number 36. Say no. This looks like a proposal somebody's turning down. Someone's walking away from their twin. Okay, so maybe that's what this is. Someone needs to go seek counseling before you go further in the relationship. Don't. Seek an expert. I don't know if that's for anybody's question because I got off on a tangent. But Sarah, that's number 36. You can take these numbers if it helps. When you get that money, we will all rise. Amen. I believe that. And if I get money, we gonna all get, whoever I've been watching, they're gonna get hit off. They ain't gotta know what it's about or what it's for, but somebody's gonna get a little something. I said that months ago, and that's what we should all do. Oh, you're married to a Cancer and your twin is a Taurus? Wow. Lots going on. Oh, but again, it's not an emergency. So there's nothing pressing. You don't have to make a commitment to this relationship or anything like that. It's not an emergency. Get some counseling. All right? Get some counseling. It's not an emergency. You're not going to lose anybody. Not an emergency is 16. 1 and 6 again is 7. And that fell on top of being patient. It's not an emergency. No one's leaving. No one's running away. Just say no. Fell on top of get over yourself. So don't rush into anything. Seek expert help, which is 52. And number 14, just laugh. Good deal? All right. Excellent. So, did we get everybody? Yes, money. Now, Mike, should you keep putting myself last or leave? Get over yourself and seek an expert. It's not an emergency. You don't have to go anywhere. Okay? Be patient. But I will pull something different from all right. Mike. He give you the soul's journey card. For Mike. Love and light to you too, Sarah. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. Oop, Mike, it says surrender, baby. I can release my need to control. Surrender, Mike. That's your message. I can release my need to control. You need to understand the distinction between power and control. You have the power of internal control, but very little external control over people and situations. The majority of your external control is through the power of influence. You lead by example. 5 and 7, Ashe. Every soul has its own unique path, and it is not your job to dictate it. Giving advice or direction in a compassionate manner is the way to go. Your soul also has a path. You may possess, and you possess the power to control it, but you must surrender the illusion that you have control over another. Release, surrender, let go. Remember that this is a process, and from time to time, your ego will rise up and demand that things be the way it should be. Envision a hot air balloon being loaded up with all of the things that you think you need to control, and let them just ride away in the balloon. You'll be surprised to find that when you release the energy of control and accept the energy of surrender, doors will open that you never expected because you have now given the universe space in which to materialize what is needed for your highest soul growth. Can I get an amen, church, this morning? Okay, Mike, I think that is the message for you and everybody else, whoever's drawn to this. Surrender. Let the universe have room to do what the universe wants to do. So a person is full of themselves and hot air anger. Could be, but that's not your problem. Maybe you are full of yourself and hot air anger. This anything that we're seeing in somebody else is what exists in us. So be aware of that. And again, the only thing we can change is ourselves. We can change, the other person can change, but that has to come from within them also, themselves. Mirroring, exactly. Okay? So I think that I think I'm done. Got that off my chest. I needed to. So thank you all for joining me this morning after my absence for so many days, but I needed to be absent and because I needed to rest. So I will say good night to, or good day to, and it's 4 and 7, which is 11. Ashe, Mike, and Juanithia, and Desiree, and Marilyn, and Christina. Hey, Christina, and MCRS, MCRZS, and Kata, and Sarah, Marilyn, and I think everybody. And of course, Mike again. Yeah. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day also, Mike. If they're saying you too much and they're angry, start asking them to say I and find out what's chewing them up. Right, right. Change the way that you, even the way you argue, and the way that someone makes you feel, you know. No one makes you feel anything. You feel it because something's being triggered. Okay. So talk about it as to why that thing triggered you. Own your own garbage and stop projecting it on other people. All right. So the homework is look up enmeshment if you choose to. You can show that one. Mike says counseling fixes the bullshit you don't understand. Try BWRT, amazing stuff. All y'all be brave and vulnerable and let that weight go. Right. Let it go. Frozen. Okay, let it go. Recognize it. Do the work that you can. You know, your job as a light worker, all right, part of the collective, twin flame service. Tell it to your family, point it out to people, but you can't make them embrace it. You can't make them do anything about it, but you can do something about it for yourself and your relationship with your children and your loved ones going forward. Okay, so Google enmeshment, and covert incest. Google Oedipal complex, Electra complex. Do the work, folks. All right. See if any of those situations resonate with your life, with your family, with what you experienced growing up. And if it has, the fact that you're recognizing it, you understand where it comes from, gives you the opportunity to clear your fears. All right. Release. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Understand the fear, okay, that love situations are bringing up for you right now. And that's why we want to clear out all of this nonsense so that when you finally get with your person, y'all can be clear to all of this baggage that you didn't create, stuff that other people brought to you, but it's part of your mission to recognize it and heal it. You're special. That's why it's being brought to your attention because we need you to do the work. Okay? I love you guys. Mike, what did you say that they had to hide? What did you say? Okay, that's all right. You can say that. No, I'm not putting you on a timeout. That's cool. Mm-hmm. All right, so everyone, thank you again so much, and I will be talking to you all real soon. And be blessed. Don't forget to share these messages. This is a message that you might need to share. Maybe it's a cheap Christmas gift or a birthday gift to somebody, but whatever it is, talk about it. Talk about it amongst yourselves, but really do the work, do the research, and maybe it'll turn your life around. All right. I love you guys. Be well and be patient and just laugh. All right. I say namaste and peace.